buddy.
Welcome to Surface Noise, the A-side.
Well, we've done it, and so far, technical difficulties, infirmary issues. I mean, this potentially could be the cursed broadcast for Surface Noise. In fact, I know the folks are filling the room. You're probably wondering, because this is technically the Spins week. I know last week we were off because I was at the Jack White concert. Technically, this is a Spins week, but Spins is also on the disabled list. Spins. Arnaldo. Anybody else? Anybody else sick that is affiliated in the Surface Noise orbit? Jose, I think Jose must have diarrhea or something. Jose said he thought he was going to be here, so hopefully Jose recovers.
Didn't stop me.
Alex has got the adult diapers on. Like he's a trooper. He's like, fuck this noise.
I've done this before.
All right, so let's see. The room is filming up. AZ Mick, hello. Wyoming Dave, hello. Travis Foley, hello. I think I'm going to see you Saturday at Billy's. We'll work that out. My man, Tom is here. Hola, people. Denny SC37, hello. This guy, Cesar, hello. It's good to see everybody. We got Kendall, hello. Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem, good deal. All right. Vinyl and Kicks 86. Good evening. Now hang on a second. We gotta leave the jokes to me. We got Alex is not on the toilet right now. We don't. This is a low budget situation, Kendall. So, but am I wrong, Alex? I gotta be honest. I gotta ask. I mean, do you have one of those things? Okay.
Life is a toilet. You just you find a place to sit and go and make it work. So
this is true. My man, best name in the community, Depeche Commode, says Jose is spraying butt coffee. I've never heard that expression, but I instantly love it. That is tremendous. Well played, Chris. I like it. All right. Brian Glick. So Brian Glick is a VCer who doesn't make videos. He's kind of in my orbit here in the STL, and he is doing the Charlotte Record Store Day experience. So he's going to go to Lunchbox with Kendall. Kendall's going to kind of chaperone him, similar to how he chaperoned me a couple months ago.
I was a Charlotte resident for about 3.5 years. So.
Oh, well, look at this.
Look at that.
And here you are, and you're.
And now I'm on Concert Buddies live stream.
You're on Surface Noise.
How the money have fallen,
Well, the question is, are you on the way up? Or are you on the way back down the hill? And I think if you're on this program, you're probably on the way back down the hill, but could be wrong. Could be wrong. Malaya is here. Hello, Malaya. Also not very far from me. Hello. This is Jack. Hello. What's going on? They're already launching into the Record Store Day talk. Trust me, we're gonna squeeze every ounce out of this Record Store Day toothpaste, and then the goal team is to not talk Record Store Day for a hot minute. So
until Saturday, right?
Well, I mean, for our presentation purposes, yes. But I mean, Record Store Day, I got to be honest, it starts for me tomorrow. My one of my locals is doing. They start with a tent sale. They don't participate in the exclusives. And it's that place you went to with Malaya, the place where you got the 45.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Wow. So I told you they have like a warehouse, and so it's $2 a disc, and it's it's digging that I took the day off from work. Like I'm really going to stretch myself. I really want to get into it. So I don't know how many more of these I have left in this vessel, this situation here, but we're going to try. We're going to really try ourselves. All right. Hang on. Malaya's got a question. Let's see. Where are you going for RSD? Well, we're going to get into this. So you got to stick around, Malaya. This is what we call the deep tease, because we want to keep you on the edge of the hook, on the edge of your seat, hopefully not on the toilet seat like Alex says, allegedly. All right. Re-release is here. Hello. No RSD this year for me. Saving money. Nothing wrong with that. Well, this is Surface Noise. I want to thank everybody who's joining us, will join us, has joined us. This was supposed to be a Spins B-side, all that stuff. My man Jason, a little under the weather, so Concert Buddy at the controls. I don't even know if this is technically an A-side.
Double A-side.
Oh, man, let's go. Double A. I like it. Oh, actually, my man June is here. What's up, June? I'm gonna talk about you, not in a negative way, but a great tip you gave. I don't know if you knew this. Ice Cube put out an album late last year, and wasn't on vinyl. And June to put out a video that said the vinyl has come through. And if you're willing to just the vinyl itself, you got to order it straight from the website. It's $30, but for the low price of $10 more, you can get Cube himself to sign it. So appreciate the tip,
Whoa.
June. Yeah, exactly. You can get a signed Ice Cube album. $30.
Sorry to interrupt, but this has been bugging my ass recently. Is it a signed sleeve or a signed like insert postcard?
Great
because
question.
Not all signatures are created equal.
This is true. Alex is great. Before we do the intro, Alex is here. That's a great question. In this instance, Cube signed the actual album jacket. There's even video.
I'd pay $10 for that easy.
Yeah, cool. $40 for a signed record that you're probably going to pay $30 for. Like, come on. Yeah, the sleeve, my man. Yes. So June, thanks for the tip. I did my patented buy two, so one to keep and one to sleep. So, or if one's damaged, and then at least I got a good one. So appreciate that. All right. So Surface Noise, Concert Buddy here. Let's do some intros, and then we'll get into the record store day talk that everyone is asking for or hoping we're over with soon. Join this evening. And we don't really cross paths too much in the Surface Noise universe, but you know it's got to be a big show when the Groove Seeker is here. Groove Seeker Chris, hello, good evening.
Concert Buddy, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to see you.
Last
time I was with you and Rojas, you bailed me out of a power outage, so I'm here to return the favor.
Yes, that was the ill-fated fish topic, I think it was. And at least for my sake, you got the least knowledgeable fish person possible. And Jason came up too. Jason probably knows 1,000 things more about fish than I do. And I think even then it was a struggle bus. Well, we got through it. Hand holding was optional, but we did it. So good to see you, Chris. And then you've already heard him. My man is he's ready. Came in the clutch. I saw him a couple weeks ago. He got to see the Buddy Body experience in person. That is Alex, the channel Beer and Vinyl. Alex, good evening. How many beers are we in?
Whatever that number is, let's do one more. Hey, cheers to you, buddy. Cheers, Chris. Cheers, Jason. Cheers to the gallery out there. Let's have a good Thursday. Happy RSD. Let's celebrate, huh?
Thirsty Thursday started for Alex hours ago, and I knew that as part of holy shit! Look at this guy. He just went hard in the paint. Whew. Wow.
Look, man.
Sensei Kreese says no mercy. And
they call me Beer and Vinyl. Be slinging beers tonight and slinging records on Saturday. You know, let's get after it.
This is going to be something. I'm telling you. And if you're interested, I see that June is this for the Ice Cube? I think there's a link here. That's probably the Ice Cube. If you're interested in the $40 Ice Cube, it's in the chat right now. And then my steady Eddie guy who's here more than anybody. I think Jason gets the attendance prize. It's Jason Rojas. What's going on, sir?
Just surviving. I had a bad cold for a while. Like I couldn't even hear records.
Oh no.
So now
that's a bad way to be. Yeah.
Wow. Look at this. $40 for a signed Ice Cube record. And the cover is...
It's a cool cover.
It's mischievous, actually.
It is, yes. So, Jason, I'm gonna make you big, so not everyone has to go to this. Yeah, it's what you're looking for. You didn't know it, and I didn't know it. I streamed the record like I think a month before last when I was at the gym, and I'm like, okay, it's late era Cube. There's probably a couple songs, and I told this to June too. Like late era Cube is still better than half these fools out there right now.
Wow,
yeah.
$40.
There's a
hell of a resume.
Boom. I love it. Oh, hang on. We got to do that. No, we want this one. I'm a little rusty, guy.
I was going to say, he's got a hell of a resume, but more than anything, I loved him in Anaconda.
Yeah, people don't talk about the thespian O'Shea Jackson.
They don't. They just go, yeah.
They go straight to the music. And, oh, snap, the record keeper you're at the Salt Shed. He says, what's up, y'all? Checking in from Jack White's show in Chicago. That's at the Salt Shed. Sold out. Have a good time. Say hi to Vance if you see VK. Is that Pearl? He's there with his lovely lady. So you guys are in for a treat. Jack does not have set lists. He just wings it. And that that set off my son, who was expecting to hear some of his favorites last week, and he only got a few of the favorites. And as you know, this generation doesn't handle disappointment well. So he gave the concert a 78 rating when we did the ratings afterwards.
Damn.
And,
Man,
I mean,
ouch.
literally, we were 20 feet from Jack White, and he gave it a 78. So tough crowd.
Higher than
tell him,
Ross would
like-
have given him. So
Right?
That's true. Yeah, but Jason, you got to earn it. Jason's an earning and burning kind of guy, which I can appreciate.
Did you tell your son this is Jack White, not Jack Black? And then that
Well,
joke
it's
just
funny you
fell.
say that because we saw Jack Black in the same venue, and he said the Jack Black Tenacious D show smoked this show. Smoked the Jack Black
man.
show.
Whew.
So
That might,
there you
have been, that
go.
might have been the last show Tenacious D plays, you know?
It could be. That was when things were better. So
What they-
yeah, we're not there. We're not there. All right. So enough of the haberdashery, if that's the word. Let's talk record store day. And so you can approach this so many different ways. I thought we would talk about, let's kind of just go around. Like, first of all, is everybody going Saturday in one shape or another?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So uniform there. Is anyone going to camp? Not say camp, but wait hours.
I might do an experiment. So Waterloo, they open at 8.
Okay.
8. And a friend of mine, I don't know if he's watching, Static ATX, Joel, he went there really early or something. Like maybe he camped out, but I mean, he was like, I think 10th person in the line, and he got all he wanted. But the more he talked about it, I was like curious, like 8, but you were there last like Friday in the wee hours and you waited. Like, I was just like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, but the more I think about it, I'm not going to do that, but I will show up early.
So
It's an
before that,
experiment.
when you say early, before the store opens early?
Correct.
Okay,
So maybe
okay.
around 5, but I think that's still not
You
early
must want that
enough.
Pharoah Sanders pretty bad. I know that's your one.
Man.
That's my
No,
one.
actually,
That's my
Well, hang
top.
on.
mean-
we'll get- Go ahead.
I mean, I really want that Taylor Swift, so we all heard it. Now we can record this, so if y'all watching, we could record
That's
that
fine.
for posterity for later.
So before we get into the nitty gritty of RSD and our thoughts, my man, Mr. Lavelle's here, Chicago man. He said he's going to be at Exponent, which it raises an interesting point because usually record store day is around the 19th or 20th. And for whatever reason, I never heard, it's a week earlier. So not only do you have the competing audio show that people go to, Exponent, which I've heard several people are going to. Then, again, Mark here, WrestleMania weekend. So, I mean, you got that going on. I mean, there's just a lot of competing eyeball stuff going on. So I don't know. I've listened to I listened to the Women in Vinyl podcast trying to get to the bottom of this. Didn't really get an answer. I listened to a couple other, because, there's so many vinyl community podcasts out there that, the Sherlock sleuth over here was trying to figure out why was Record Store Day a week early, and I couldn't get to it. Even Paul Meyer's podcast didn't touch on it. So,
Do you want me to ask? I'll ask. So I
oh,
know
okay.
some
All right. Yeah, let's figure this
person.
out. There's got to be there's got to be something. And as the show of
Okay.
record, I had hoped to bring that exclusive here, and fail sauce. So, all right. So let's get into. So everyone's going to go early enough. Chris, I'm going to start with you. What is if it's possible, what's your go-to store? We'll start there because we want to give cheap plugs as much as we can. And then because I don't know if you guys approach this like I do. Like I have like the ones I'm like really locked in on, and then I have the ones that are usually like, if I'm there, I'm passive interest as the price isn't crazy. That's how your stack swells from a couple to like real crazy real quick. So I don't know if you guys approach that, but Chris, tell me your go-to store, and then let's start with the things that you're like, those are the things I'm laser focused on.
So my go-to is in Poughkeepsie, New York, Dark Side Records.
Dark Side, my guys.
Yeah, they just have a crazy selection. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's the easiest place to go to. I'm not going to go there early. I won't get there till 2 or 3. So I'll probably struggle for a lot. I will wake up early for the online people on Sunday to see if I missed anything. My methodology has changed over the years.
Yeah.
I make a list, and then I'm on my 6th edit. Like I really,
First of all, do you print the list out? Are you old school?
I-
Please tell me.
yeah. I
Attaboy.
have it right here.
Attaboy. That's how
I have it over
the
here.
olds. That's how we get down. Like
gotta
it's
cross
nice
it
to have
off.
on your phone. It's nice to be
Yeah.
on the computer, but I'm printing out that list. Arnaldo, shout out to Arnaldo who's under the weather. I know Arnaldo's a printer outer, so shout out to the olds. We're keeping it live. We're killing the trees. Chris,
I mean,
thank you.
does he even have to get up, or does he just get all of the shit sent to him? You know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That was good.
I-
That was actually good.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you.
I even like highlighted in different colors, you know, what's first and what's
Oh man, we've got
exclusive.
multiple
Jeez.
highlighter colors. Chris, bringing it. I like it.
Yeah.
So I've narrowed. I thought I narrowed the list down to something slim, but then I sent it to Rojas, and he's like, "Well, what's your top 5 out of that list?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, there's too much here."
Good God, man. Good God. We
tough.
need to Jason, do we need to have an intervention for this guy? Like, wow, he's going hard in the paint.
But here's the thing: I'm gonna go so late. I'm definitely not gonna get everything. So then it's like, oh, I missed it. You know.
But you're okay with that, it sounds like.
So it goes, yeah.
Yeah. Like there's nothing I'm looking at the list. Like, I don't know if you want me to talk about what I want, but there's nothing
give me
here.
a couple of the ones that, and we'll kind of go around and do it this way. Give me a couple of the ones that you're like, man, those are the ones they did it right this year, and those are the ones that I'd be a little bummed if I didn't get.
Well, I think I'm not going to get the Pharaoh Sanders. I'm not going to be there in time, right? There's only doing 1,500, and I promised a friend in the VC if I pulled it, I would send it to him if he didn't get it. So,
Jumping on the grenade, the vinyl grenade. Look at you, damn! I
the
didn't know we had such like generosity going around here. Like I thought record school days when you just get cutthroat and you start throwing
Basically,
bows.
like
Yeah.
God,
A quick shove to that old lady, like in
Just
the doorway. Like, exactly. Like after afternoon is when you're nice, when the lines are gone and you go back for seconds, and that's when you get those flips. Oh, I shouldn't have said that out loud.
I don't know if there's. This store always has a line. Like I remember last year in the springtime, my daughter and I went, and we didn't get up there till like 12:30, and it was wrapped around the building, and we were like, nope, went right back home because I
What
think it
time
was
do
a
they
big.
open?
They open at like 7 or 8 in the morning. People start camping out like 2:30. If you follow them on Instagram, I'm sure. Watch them the day before. People are like tailgating.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because even though I'm in New York, I've talked to you guys this, like there's a bunch of stores in the city. Outside of the city, it's like 45 minutes north to south till I get to a store. It's not, it's not heavily populated. So it's and it's a pretty big store. So yeah, it'll be and they get Albany region, they get up, some upstate, they get downstate going up. People come across from Connecticut to get there. So it's a pretty central area.
Yeah, Chris, how far are you from like Rock Fantasy? Is that in Newburgh?
That's in Middletown. I think that's even further. Yeah, that's even further up there. Yeah. That's a legendary
There's
place.
just not a ton of places where you're at.
It's
right?
wild. And there's Jerosa in Connecticut, but they're expensive. Like people just don't really go there unless it's close. So but big hitters, yeah.
Not to cut you off, Chris,
go
but
ahead.
it seems to be this Pharaoh Sanders. Like I know this one Jason's, we talked about that one offline. Alex, sounds like you're into that one too. Is this one of the, because is it like low print? Is that like what's so great about this? As somebody who's
15.
on a break, I'm on a hiatus with jazz right now. Is it what's so appealing about this, guys?
I would throw in a couple different things. It's extremely low print and an exclusive. And so I think it's like 1,500, something like that.
Yep.
I think it's also this sort of debut of sorts of what's going on with Strata East right now, with Charles Tolliver's son in charge of it, and all the stuff they're doing with like Kevin Gray, and they're this is sort of like the opening of all the releases that they have forthcoming. And I also think too, like in a lot of ways, I think this might have been, I don't know exactly, but I feel like this was a record itself that was maybe only released in like Japan or something. Like it was like something that like the original release of this was so not, it's like originals of this go for gazillions of dollars. Probably Jason has like 3 of them or something. But I think it's also, here's where I go back and forth with it, and this may be just kind of on the rant thing. It is going to be, I think, tough. I think a lot of people in our sphere are very interested in it, but I don't know that your casual record person who goes out for record store day is sorry for swearing. Can I swear?
Oh, absolutely. Come on.
Like,
This is,
I don't think
Fuck yeah.
lot of like your casual jazz people are trying to fuck with Pharoah Sanders. Like, I think they're gonna hear that record and be like, "What in the squeak squonk is going on here?" But like me, I'm like, I love that stuff. Like, I'm just like a really big Pharoah Sanders fan, and so that's a lot of
that's right. Outstanding way to put that, Alex. I like that. Yes.
But I think a lot of the stuff that they're doing with Strata East right now is super cool. Like, I'm was pumped about that interview they did with Kevin Gray and then Charles Tolliver's son on the Jazz Bums and all that kind of stuff. I just think it's a cool thing. So that's what I hope. But
Gotcha.
It's actually why I hate record store day, because why would you make 1,500 of this record? What purpose?
Right.
What does that serve? You're launching a new series, unless it's like a color variant, but it's labeled as an exclusive, right?
yeah,
Like why would you do that? It doesn't make
Well,
any
you know, it's a highly sought after thing. If Jason Rojas of all people is asking me in the private chat, keep an eye out for this one. Like you know when the top of the mountain is looking down to the rest of us, plebes, and it's like, hey, you guys see this? Hook a brother up. So, Jason, what's the appeal for you? Everything Alex hit on,
Yeah. So the original is hard to get. It's probably selling for over $200, which is
that's not that bad.
well, I mean,
Well.
come on.
Have you seen all the free records Jason's showing on this channel? Come on, guys.
But I mean, I guess you could go get it, for the
I've
original.
paid a lot more for a lot less, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Yeah, okay.
been there, done that.
Yeah, twice.
So I'm just curious, like the fact that it took me a while to get a copy, basically. Yes. I mean, this would be cool for RSD one day,
We're already getting comments for Jason's wall of wow. He's a shiny head bitch.
Maybe a quad Billy Joel Piano Man.
Yeah, we're going to have to get into like why that one made the cut, but we'll get into that. So I guess I'm in the minority here because that's not. I mean, I would obviously look out if you guys needed it, but that was something that. And again, I'm on a little break with jazz, but to hear some serious, I'd say serious collectors. No offense, guys. All kind of looking for that record. It makes me kind of think twice. It kind of activates the gears. Like, what am I? Maybe I'm missing something, right?
Why not?
Well, I mean, it's spiritual. It's more free jazz. It gets a bit noisy. But since only 1,500, like that will be.
Well, it's also, I
collectible.
mean, Jason, what year was that? Like 71. So I mean, we're not.
Yes.
We're talking a very. Most of these records that we see like reissued in the jazz world for Record Store Day are, like the Mulligan meets Monk and, or all the craft stuff that comes out, right? Where you're like, oh, these are great records, but, they're from a certain time and they're a certain style. But, for something like this, that is not, that is a pretty underappreciated, represented type of thing. Yeah.
But let's go back to where Chris was. Chris was like, he'd like it. He'd really like it. But he already said he would if it's available and his buddy wants it, he's going to give it to his buddy, which is very admirable.
He's a good person. Yeah,
he's a good person. He's one step closer to eternal salvation. I know I definitely need help in that department, but we got to give Chris a clap. Well,
speaking of internal salvation, that's probably what this record's going to sound like. What it is.
So Chris, what else is on your I'd like to have, but if the Dalai Lama himself calls me, I'm going to give him my copy as well.
Well, listen, nothing. I don't think anything is going to be too difficult. Knock on wood. So, top of the list is the live Talking Heads. Like, there's going to be ample of that, I think.
Okay.
Let's see. I'd like to get. I'll just read off quickly. Jeff Bridges' Slow Magic. I'm really interested in that.
Okay.
Did you see that?
I saw that.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a big Cowboy Junkies fan, so I'll be going for that acoustic junk. I'll do the jazz last. Jayhawk's Blue Earth. Going to be looking at that. I get all the Gil Scott Herons every RSD.
Yeah, that one's a red variant, right? The one where he's running. I think that's.
I think so. Yeah. I'll get the STP live because I've gotten all the other RSD ones. The Warren Zevon Piano Fighter.
That's my number one.
Yeah,
Besides
that's
Oh,
going to be
wow.
cool. This record I had on the list and took off, and then Rojas reminded me he has an OG. So the Sister Nancy, I think I wasn't going to go after, but I think I have to. And then as far as jazz and Chance, believe it or not, I'm in your camp. I'm trying to back off the jazz a little bit because I've just it's consumed my life. So I omitted a lot of the live stuff, and
Yeah.
so
I'm
but
like Dave
I got
Chappelle as Rick James. Remember, this is it right
like,
here. Come to me, Chris.
yeah.
Come to
So that's a Tone Poet Society member speaking, by the way.
No, I know. You're fully
Uh,
vested. You're vested and
Yeah.
invested.
So, and I'm just reading my list here. So I'm jazz, Nathan. Oh, one other thing that's non-jazz that's going to be killer is the Free Nationals Instrumentals album. If you guys haven't heard that record, that's Anderson Paak's backing band.
Oh, cool.
Their debut record's pretty hard to get. It's already out of print, but the instrumentals are worth investigating. But jazz, Nathan Davis, and I like the craft stuff that they do. The Mulligan meets Monk. And that's it. I mean, I'd say that's it. I pared down the list a lot. I took all those live albums off that they're doing from that place in the Bronx, which looked pretty cool. I think I took the Monk live off. I just got to limit myself on jazz from now on, especially on the RSD stuff. Just there's so much. That's my list. I don't think there's anything I'm going to be struggling for, so that's why I'm not on fire about going late.
Well, quick shout out. So this is friend of the show's Amanda. So she was on the Women of Vinyl podcast. Matter of fact, I was listening to it. I know she works for one of the distributors, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
AMG. It's Amanda Sells Records. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's terrific. And so she was given a skinny. Again, I'd highlight. I know you want to listen to Vinyl Community Podcast, and you should. Just like you should smash that like button right now. But go to the Women in Vinyl podcast this week with Amanda on. It's great. But she was kind of giving a skinny on some of the things. Like, for example, and Amanda, I hope it's okay to say this. If you want that Taylor Swift, her recommendation was you'll probably get the Taylor Swift because they've printed Buku Dolores of them. So anyway,
I don't even think the number, it's so high the number's not even listed on the website.
Right. And that was kind of what our friend was suggesting. So don't sweat the Taylor Swift if I was picking that up. And if I got that wrong, Amanda, listening in the car, so it's possible, but I think I was picking up what you're putting down. But great to see you here. Well, Chris, that's a healthy list. I wish you great vinyl luck in that. I hope that there are no fisticuffs at Dark Side. I love those guys. They've moved up to one of my top online stores that I like to buy from. So I like to hear it. Now, Alex, multiple beers in. You already said what was your number one? The Zevon? Did I hear you?
Well, I would say yeah, and I guess like you know, here's what's going with, right? Is like I think the Pharaoh Sanders is going to be hard to get, right? Like we've talked about that a lot.
Yep.
But I am a huge Warren Zevon fan. I do not anticipate the Warren Zevon box set of his 90s records to be that difficult, right? But that doesn't mean I want it any less. I mean, I think that's an important thing to mention with Record Store Day stuff is just because the supply might be higher and the demand might be lower, it doesn't mean my personal demand is not there for it. So not only the Warren Zevon box set, but also the Hindu Love Gods too, with which is the stuff he was doing with REM, which is like a covers record, but it's Warren Zevon and REM. Which is pretty cool. That's an exclusive, but it's an exclusive with pretty high numbers. I think maybe 5,000. So I don't think that's going to be difficult. I will say one of the things that Chris mentioned that's important is, kind of the going easy on the jazz stuff for the people who are the jazz fans, because, I think like, Kraft, for example, has a good approach to it, right? They always release that like outside of jazz dispensary stuff, which I always try to pick up too, because I love those comps. They do that one like mono release, right? Whether it was like the Art Pepper a few years ago or the Mulligan meets Monk this year or whoever it was last year, I can't remember, but this is good stuff.
Max Roach.
It was the Max Roach. The challenge with the jazz stuff is really a lot of the stuff that's coming from Elemental and Resonance. No disrespect towards them, I think they're doing amazing stuff, and I know Zev is a fan of all the people and he's a great friend. Like, this is obviously no disrespect, but it's like, I'm not prepared to drop $80 on a Freddie Hubbard live triple LP record. Like, not as good. Now, it's like, oh boy, if I miss out on the $50 Bill Evans, I guess I'll just have to wait till the next one to get another $50 Bill Evans record, right? Like,
$50. That's being generous. I mean, these things are escalating in price. Like if
right?
Bill
Yeah,
Evans plays the Montreal Bathroom. I mean, some of these things are just getting out of control.
Yeah.
3 discs.
It's a good point. And now there are
What a
some of them,
joke.
right? Like I am probably of the Resonance releases, the one I'm probably leaning towards most is the Kenny Dorham, just because I feel he's more of there's not as many releases, there's not a lot of live stuff or even studio stuff from that era. Like I think it's a great lineup. But it's like I don't think I need another Bill Evans Record Store Day release for $50 of him doing Bill Evans stuff, and I love Bill Evans. So those are big ones. I am really also something that's limited, but it's an RSD first is Rochambeau from the Grays. Grays was a short-lived. They released one record in the mid-'90s, I feel like, and this is the one, Rochambeau. It's Jason Faulkner from Jellyfish. So for the '90s power pop people out there, this is kind of the big hitter that I haven't seen as many people talking about. Really limited. I think less than 1,200. It might be around like 1,100. Again, it's an RSD first, but
Yeah, this is it. OJC. This is Greg, I believe. He said Bill Evans live flush in Montreal. So yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. I hope it's on the Black Friday. It's at the Montreal Forum where the Canadians play. So coming at you next year.
That's the Bell Center. Okay.
Oh, we got a hockey fan here. Oh.
I know somebody's they still do the announcements in French. I love it. Yeah, and obviously, for the people who know me and Buddy, you did a great video on your trip to or your online shopping at Plaid Room. In the neo funk soul world, Soul Slabs Volume 4 is coming out from Coal Mine. That's always just a great hit. I mean, I talk about Coal Mine all the time, and I do think like the Soul Slabs comps are just amazing and a chance to kind of hear a little bit of everything that the label is offering in terms of all the cool new neo soul funk stuff that's going on contemporarily. So I mean those are the big ones, but again, it's like I think that, at least from my experience, I think the Pharoah Sanders is going to be tight. Now here's what I will say too, in kind of the opposite of what Chris is talking about, is that he's
not giving up his copy. That's what he means. He's not
well, Jason lived in Columbus for years, and so he'd be able to kind of talk about this. But Columbus, I will say, like, we have a lot of great stores that are all really close to one another. I mean, you can hit 5 stores in 2 square miles, and so the opposite problem of sort of what I was talking about earlier. And what's interesting is those 5 stores or whatever all do really well for themselves because they have different clientele. And so what's interesting is if I go to my one place that I go to in the beginning, which my record store day stop at the very beginning is Spoonful Records in downtown Columbus. The reason I still go there is they still do what I would call like the COVID list. People line up, they will hand out a list. It's like a sushi sheet. You check what you want. They hand out this list at 6:30 a.m. They call you in and they have your records for you. That's the only way I've experienced Record Store Day, because I didn't really start buying records until 2020. And so that is the way I appreciate doing it, because I don't, going in and having people running around and grabbing, it's just not my vibe.
You raise a great point, Alex, because that's something I was going to bring up, and we'll let you get back in a second. But if you don't like the form, you like the amoebas, the Spoonful, it sounds like, where they give you a form and they give you X amount of titles, and then it's a lot more. Because I've been to it where it's literally like I went to Monster Music one year in South Carolina, great store in Charleston, but literally there was shit everywhere. It was like The Price is Right, like running around and that sort of thing. So that's your preferred way. What about you, Jason? Do you prefer an orderly experience like that? Or do you it doesn't matter? Like you're just so chill, you just kind of come in, and if it's there, it's there.
If it's there, it's there. But, disappointment always lurks. I'll still remember what Nathaniel Mars told me when the Babe Alexa was not available at Electric Fetus, and some young girl cried and ran away.
Oh no, we lost one. We lost one.
Man, I would never want that to happen. If I was holding the baby Rexa, I'd be like, young lady, this is yours. I don't need to have this. You can just take it, you know?
Man, we got some nice guys on the panel. I don't know why we get all the negativity thrown our way. Now, Chris, as the nicest guy on the panel, do you prefer an orderly process, or because you're talking about Dark Side as a line, is the line one where all the Record Store Day stuff is in one area and it's like a snake line where you go through and grab it, or how's that work?
Yeah. So they now what they do is they snake you through a separate line in the back of the store. Everything is behind a counter, and you're just like, hey, I want this, this, and this, and they're just pulling and grabbing. So it's very controlled.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is you got people who are like up there like, let me see this. It's like, listen, we're from New York. Act like you're from New York. As I say to people, act like you're from New York. Get up there. Like, you gotta know what you want.
I like it. See, that's such a nice guy. See, we've exposed him. Gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. Let's go. Like, you know what your budget is. You know what you want to get. You got your list. Like, get in and get out. Get in and get out. And I do think one thing I would do differently if I owned a record store, which I don't, is I would have, if you're only here for the Taylor Swift, just go over here and let everybody else get in. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, because that's the only time Record Store Day is too much, is when there's a Taylor Swift release. Like, I wish you would go back to Target. Just go back to Target this time around.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I mean, that's a great point, though, right? Because, I mean, the last several times that there's been a big release, like, and it's not just Taylor, right? Like, I think, like, the Gracie Abrams release is going to be really hot this year, and I think the Charlie XCX is going to be really big. Like, I think there's a lot of those. But it's funny, like, you line up and you're like, Jesus, I'm like 67th in line. I'm never going to be able to get my Pharaoh Sanders. I'm like, well, good news. The 65 people in front of you, think that man be looking like a pyramid. So, like, that's a stretch of a joke, concert buddy. You'll laugh later. But is that. But it is one of those things, like I was saying, was like, I think I prefer that, at least in the morning, right? Because there are some stores that intentionally, and I get it, like, I think there's a adrenaline rush and all that type of stuff for people who love, like, the doors are open, go Willy Wonka on it.
Sure.
Cool, I can support that. But my favorite of the stores who are like, we don't alphabetize, we do not sort, they're just randomly everywhere, and go find it. That way we're not playing favorites. I'm like, that's great, like, cool. But for me, I'm like, no. And I also appreciate too, like, with the list comes the prices. You get to review the list one more time. You get to review, it's like, it's just a more laid back thing. And then after that, if I don't find what I want, or there's something missed, then I'll go to the other stores and play the game that way and see how that goes. But
yeah, Dark Side does a good job with the sushi list too. I mean, you don't check off what you want, but like an hour in, they'll be like, we're out of this, this, and this, and hand out new lists.
Super helpful.
People coming. Like, yeah, it's just great that way.
And this is also
and sorry, one other quick thing about Dark Side that I love. So Chance talked about one store not participating, doing like a pop-up thing. People wait online at Dark Side for what they call their wall bangers. So they'll have 30 or
a family show. He's talking about records on the wall. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, sorry. They'll have like 30 or 40 records that they're putting up that aren't RSD records, but are going on like their, Holy Moly or Grail wall or whatever. And that causes a big buzz too. So they really go all out for it. And they do a good marrying of like pre-owned and new stock on Record Store Day to create a buzz.
I like it. See, now even the group Lisa is corroborating. She said Dark Side is great. She got Rex Orange County RSD a couple of years ago from them. So look at that.
Nice.
I like it.
Sorry to cut you off, Alex.
Oh, no. I mean, it was good.
Alex, do you have one more thing to add before I moved on to Mr. Rojas?
No. Oh, I was just going to say it's just a shout out. We're doing some good shout outs to some local places and why I love Spoonful. And I love, all of our stores here, but the Spoonful is nice again because they hand out the list around 6 a.m., which means you're turning in your list at 6:15, which means you don't have to be back in line until 8. And so what's nice though too is when they give out the list, you put, they give out a list with a number on it based on what number you are in line. You put your name and your phone number. they will text you or they will call you after they reviewed. So this could be at 7 a.m. and they say, "Hey, Alex, we've gotten everything for you, but so sorry we don't have Pharaoh Sanders for you." And like, I know at 7 a.m. that they don't have Pharaoh Sanders, and I can figure it out from there or whatever. And so it's just, to me, it just is a cool way to do it. But again, I also understand the old school RSD way of wanting to open the doors and go Willy Wonka on it. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Rojas, this is what we've been building to. Now, we've already opened out of the bag that Pharaoh Sanders. And in fact, people who are going to be listening to this on the podcast, hopefully while they're waiting in line Friday night going into Saturday morning, we're creating a lot of competition. But, it is what it is. So outside of Pharaoh Sanders, Jason, what else has piqued your interest? Because this is I would say it's a better list than some of the prior lists. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a top 10 or anything like that, but some work went into this. So, Mr. Rojas.
So there's actually a list. We're not going to go through it all. And that's why I kind of messaged Chris, the Groove Seeker, like, hey, if you had to, what would be your top 5? So you can see,
Okay, hang on. We've got props, and I'm out of range. Here we go.
I mean,
oh man, even I don't know. I have to take my fingers.
we'll just leave it up so some person can take the screenshot and they can embarrass.
Well, they will. There's some
number
fans.
2, Bluey. Burger Dog.
Bluey is on the list. I can't see that.
Come on. After the STP is the Taylor. Got to get Fortnite if I can.
Okay.
The Wire would be great. It would be great. That was actually like a box set a couple years ago of the singles, and now they took everything and released it on a 2 LP. But to me, there was only 3, the Pharaoh Sanders and the 2 Shudder to Think. Shudder to Think were a post-punk band from DC from the 90s, early 2000s. I heard they reunited. They're starting to play shows again. So those 2 would be great.
I like that.
Oh, man. Message from the Vinyl Guru. Let's hide that.
Hang on. We've got some intercoms working here.
Correct. I would love to get that pill, the Public Image Limited, that first issue.
Okay.
And another one like the Queen does De Lana Lea demos. I don't know. They're from the box set, actually, of that first Queen record. Those are actually awesome. They're actually better than the album. So if I see it, I'll pick it up. If you know what I'm saying? But I think that one will. There's plenty of them. But that Queen, that was really good. So my trick was I actually listened to a couple of these, and then I sort of whittled it down, like what would be repeated play. Like I would love to get that Aha, the demos, because some of them are so bad. Like the demos are so cheesy, you would just laugh, but then you would never play it again, It's like a speeded up version of Take On Me that's so terrible, but, terrible, so bad it's good.
One person's terrible is another person's terrible, so I get that.
Sure.
That's good.
So,
I don't know if...
The question I have as a follow-up, Jason, is, so you've got it on tablet. Are you not part of the print... your form army?
No.
Oh, no.
The thing is, like, I check them, so you can see the little bubbles there when I...
Yeah, but I start off on paper too, and then I go to this. I have to check off.
You guys, come on! Don't leave me behind and killing trees, here, guys. Like,
no. I
mean, literally, this is one of the worst environmentally friendly hobbies you can have, with all the plastic sleeves and paper inserts that nobody likes, and yet you guys are going all like sustainable on me. Like, Alex, please. Team print, come on, man. We're getting.
Well, speaking of paper inserts, nobody likes. I mean, come on.
Well,
oh, jeez! Wow.
One.
And
oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Don't even get me started on this line of stuff right now.
Speaking of inserts that nobody likes, I believe Concert Buddy called on me. At some point I used to be full on print and highlighter. Like different, somebody was mentioning maybe you, Chris. Like I will different color highlight based on a level of importance, and it's like the must-haves, the maybe-haves, the would be nice to have sort of thing. So,
well, we'll get to that. We'll
beautiful.
go another round. So I'm gonna just give a couple of things that I'm kind of going for real quick. Belly is a record they haven't reissued, so that's one that piqued my interest, right? Obviously, if you watch the Concert Butter programming,
Butter.
interviewed Joey Callio for Dada, so that's one I'm interested in. Didn't get a free copy, and that's okay. I don't mind
That's
lining
okay.
up.
I'm not mad.
Hell, the artist himself is lining up, so come on, man. Like,
I mean, but you know what though? But that's a $50 record.
Some,
60.
yeah, it
60.
depends. So it's funny you guys say that because rough trade $60, bull moose $50. So it's very interesting seeing the pricing elasticity as certain sellers are pushing that MSRP lever as far as they can. Because I think when you're like a pledge store, there is like an arena that they can kind of push MSRP.
Well, that's their distributor too. Yeah.
Sure, right. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I have a feeling locally what I think it's going to shake out at, but again, Joe is a good guy, and I'm happy to support. Chevelle's first record is getting put on vinyl. I don't know if you guys like Chevelle, Chicago, like alternative metal. Well, I didn't say metal, it's alternative rock is one. And then the one I'm worried about, but I think I've already got feelers, and if Kendall is still here, is one of my guys. I've already got the network running. Is JJ Gray and Mofro. They have an album called Orange Blossoms, first time on vinyl. It's one of my favorite albums of that output. So I think they only did 900, and it's a regional, allegedly.
Yeah.
So that one had me sweaty to the point where I was kind of throwing out feelers like, hey, if you can look for this one for me. That was my lookout for me one. So we'll see. I have a feeling that I should get one way or another, but we'll see. So, and here he is, Kevin. Yes, my man, me, myself, and vinyl. My vinyl. Yes, I need JJ Gray. I think he said we were exchanging privately. He said his locals only got one. So this is one that I think we will test the power of the vinyl network because that's what the good guys do, right?
I would also say I would add there are two. I didn't mention these, but two of the releases specifically have piqued my interest from our friend Daniel over at Riding Easy Records. Believe Licorice Orchestra is one of them. It's like early 90s, I think maybe like 93, 94, like shoegaze, dream poppy type stuff. Like very much outside of the typical Riding Easy records sort of vibe, right? This is not like, Lost, early 70s garage rock type stuff. And so that has piqued my interest because I spot checked that and it sounded really good. So like for the fans of, anything on like 4AD people out there, like whatever that is for you, This Mortal Coil, Cocteau Twins, like all that type of stuff, like Licorice Orchestra sounded really good to me. And then the other one too is that, was it John Brahamy, something like that. It looks like he released one record. He was singer, songwriter, and poet from like Nebraska or something. Released one record in 1968, one and done, and they're reissuing that. And it sounds like very kind of psychedelic, folky Americana type stuff. That's really cool. So that's one of those labels that I always look at kind of what they're doing because the stuff that is done at Riding Easy. It's like Dylan from Noble Records has also done his own versions of a lot of the record stuff. So both of those looked really cool.
Well, let me ask you, here's a category, guys. So give me a title, and we'll start with you, Chris. We'll run it back around the horn. What's a title that you could be talked into getting? And what I mean by that is, you got your printed out list if you're old school, and you're sitting there, and then maybe you don't have an annoying person by you, and you're striking up a friendly conversation, and you don't get sold, but you kind of get pushed into the area of, I'm not going to screw the person next to me, but if they've got another one, and I've got a little cash, you could be talking into getting what?
I could be talked into getting the Residents. I could be talked into getting the Bad Bad Not Good 45 box set. I love Bad Bad Not Good, but I don't like 45s. But I can be talked into that. Those are the two probably.
So can I completely segue off of this for 1 second? So this is probably a better freestyle topic, but since you said Bad Bad Not Good, what I stumbled into recently? We'll get back to Record Store Day in a second.
What?
Do you know who Danny Cooksey is?
I don't think so.
Danny Cooksey was a child actor. He was like, I thought, on Different Strokes, redheaded guy. He was He was John Connor's best friend in T2. Anyway, look him up. Child actor. Did you know that he had a band called Bad for Good? Steve Vai took like these really young musicians and put Danny Cooksey. Google it and YouTube it. It's one of my where I've been the last couple of weeks. It's one of my YouTube deep dives late night. Bad for Good, like for. It's actually not terrible. It's I couldn't believe it. I was like, first of all, Danny Cook, like this has got to be a joke because nothing on vinyl, CD only. It's not bad. I couldn't believe it. So
I'll check it out.
Actually, it's CDs on my list. I'm not trying to sell it. I just when you said bad, not good, I'm like that popped the memory. It's ADHD.
Wait. I gotta carry on this train. I know this could be a freestyle topic, but do you remember the show Pete and Pete on Nickelodeon?
I do.
So the heavier Pete Tamborelli, he had a jam band in the early 2000s called Jounce, which was I've seen them live, like by accident. I'm like, is that the kid from Pete and Pete? Dude, oh my God. Like really good.
This is something I need to put this in my pocket as a freestyle-ish topic to bring out these did you know musical things. Anyway, he said bad, not good. It got me again. Yeah. Squirrel saw it going. So
yeah, that's awesome.
So Alex, if there's a title, what's a title? I know you're a big Danny Cooksey fan, but if who's still doing music, by the way, I went on a deep dive. I'm like, what's Danny Cooksey up to? He's doing country music now. But anyway, is there a title that you could be talked into, and what is it?
There always is. I posted a video on my channel, like everybody else, trying to strike when the iron's hot yesterday about like, here's my wish list, 9 months late, whatever. And lo and behold, there's always somebody, and respectful about it. They're like, man, how did you miss this? And I'm like, I don't friggin' know how I missed that, And so like somebody mentioned something, I'm like, shit, I didn't know about that. So now I hear these people talking about belly. It's funny, I gave a good old Wikipedia search to belly, and the first thing that came up was a Palestinian Canadian rapper. And I was like, I don't know. That sounds okay too, but I don't feel like people are going to be like,
wait, that's not who it is? I'm confused. I'm clueless. I don't know.
So people were talking about, somebody said in the comments, like, I could be convinced into the belly. I don't know belly at all. I don't know a belly from my own, if you know what I mean. And so yeah, I mean,
no nudity, Alex. That was the rule. No nudity tonight. All right?
No, well, it's all right. We can do bad belly buttons count. And so that could be something that gets into it a little bit. But yeah, and then somebody else that I could totally be talking to the belly, because that was not even on my radar until someone mentioned it today. And I looked it up, and I was like sitting here going, I was like, okay, like 90s alternative rock, right? This like early to mid 90s stuff that obviously is difficult as hell to find.
Thank you. And then Caesar is pumping his fist in unison right now, because at 90s.
Good. Well, tell me more, Cesar, because I'm like sitting here, I'm like alternative rock, dream pop, jangle pop. That I could. I'm about to, somebody was talking about painting walls earlier. I'm about to paint mine white. So, tell me more, people, about the belly. I could get into that. And then the other one was this Prague record that somebody mentioned about this band from some country in South America. Someone's going to have to fill me in on this one. Prague band, South America, this record that's being reissued for the first time ever. It's from like 1981, and it's of like a concept record that they performed Machu Picchu. As I yell all that out there, somebody help me out. I would have to I don't know if either
for gallery help Alex out. This is the lifeline time, because I have no idea.
South American progressive, I guess they call it like progressive folk, progressive art rock, Machu Picchu, 1981. It's like the Los Aguilares or something.
Damn it. See, this is where Jose would really earn his stripes, and Jose is having a massive diarrhea situation tonight. So
that doesn't mean he can't help.
Jose. God damn it.
We're testing the gallery.
We're testing the gallery. Let's see. We got anybody coming in clutch?
It was hilarious though, because someone commented on my channel, because like I'm a huge Prague guy, right? And so someone was like literally like, "That's it. Piper's got it." Yeah, because Vinyl Piper probably has 16 originals of it from 16 different countries. So he's probably ready to go with it.
Well, he takes the Olympic flag and then he tries to get a record off of each of the countries represented. That's how Chris gets down. Sorry.
That's it. The Los High. I'm guessing that's Hivas.
Here we go. Thank Piper coming in. There we go.
Yep.
Los Hivas.
That is something I could totally be convinced into doing. I also looked. I mean, I think it was Bull Moose prices. It was like $50. that's a lot for like a single LP, I think it was.
Sure.
Yeah, but that is something that I could totally be convinced into doing.
Talked into. All right, now this
concert buddy. I have a Confessions of a Vinyl Collector to it.
Oh, here we go.
And I think you'll relate this. You guys are talking about Belly. I was like, oh, they're gonna put the Belly soundtrack on vinyl. You remember that movie Belly?
No. Oh no! Did that just happen? Oh no! I can't believe Chris.
What a great soundtrack.
Loser.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, drop Master General. We're not going to go that far. I mean, it's crazy. All right, now, Mr. Rojas, it probably takes a lot to convince you because you're pretty disciplined. You know, you've helped steer me right in several areas of the record will come around. So you're not like chasing it. You know, you do have the elbow sharpened on occasion, like, you know, Baraka from Mortal Kombat. But is there something that you could be talked into off of this list?
If I could find it, the Jackie DeShannon, like I think that's 900 actually.
Oh, we're getting.
And the Doc Pomus, I would totally get it, but those are all regional. Both of those are regional, so I'm thinking there's no chance for me to get those or see them.
Well, again, Real Gone. Our friends at Real Gone put that one out. Looks like Jackie DeShannon, Love Forever, the demo recordings. Okay.
Yes.
I do have to show this only because this is a remarkable album cover. And if you're not familiar, I'm about to educate you. Let's see if I can. Where is this? It's this one. This is if you're into self hugs, this is it right here. Look at this. Love Forever. And it's a nice, striking lady. Self hug mode. 900, Grammy winning singer songwriter. Yeah, Kentucky. Oh boy.
Yeah, you know it's going to be limited print when a Wikipedia is 5 sentences.
I mean, look at this. I mean, this is actually a substantial like bio for a record store day release. I mean, so maybe Jason's on to something. This could be something.
Is this her entire vault in one collection?
You know, it turns
related
out
to anybody on the Record Store Day committee. I don't know. It could be.
She wrote Betty Davis Eyes, Put a Little Love in Your Heart. So these songs are very huge, right?
Okay.
And she has like many records, and like I saw this on the RSD, and then I just started doing like a deep dive, like going through her records and seeing if she had improved her songwriting or whatever, and it was actually very interesting. She's got a disco record, and it's really good. So
even Wyoming Dave knows this. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. Jack. Yep. Wyoming Dave, he pulls these, and this comes in clutch. I like it. Way to represent. Chuck T says the Starship Picture Disc. Jason, is this one you could be talked into?
That might be rough.
Grace Slick, I think, is wearing like the pull-up socks. I did see a picture of this.
Maybe a picture of me holding it and like, holding it like Tron, just the frisbee.
Here it is. So before we go to the last topic on records today, I promise, is the one I could be talked into is that Oasis box set. Something I don't.
Yeah.
You got to be careful of that one.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have Champagne Supernova, so it's already like, man, I know that wasn't.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't a hit, but it's a song that I associate with Oasis. So,
I took it off because it's going to get issued after, right?
Right. Yeah. This is only colored vinyl. That's
the colored.
Jason said, "Be careful." Why do I have to be careful? Is this something that is there dangerous? Is there like voodoo associated?
It's only because the person I know who's on the committee, she requested 20 of them, right? She's on the committee, so her store should get 20. Instead, she only got 1. So that means it's going to be tough to get.
People just capitalizing on this Oasis noise these days,
Flawless victory.
That's not so flawless. That's See, when I hear stuff like that, because when I hear that, then it automatically is like. Because where I'm going is my friend Billy's shop who does the list. That you get your top 2, and then it's everybody. What it is freestyle, right? And when I hear that, I'm posturing what those top 2 are. And is it the JJ Gray that's only got 900? Is it the Dada?
Probably.
Is it, you know what I mean? Or is it the Oasis, which he, again, to back that up, he only got one. I think he put in for 10, he got one.
Yeah, but
That's crazy.
But it doesn't it? I mean, it's the same thing with the, I was sitting there talking about the Warren Zevon box, and Chris, you were too. These things happen all the time. The only thing that's exclusive about it is that it's a box.
Yes.
Each of those is going to get reissued on its own in the next 6 months, and
but it's on colored vinyl.
I understand that, sir, but
Can I raise an alternative point on this Oasis? Because is it possible that there is a defect, so they didn't print enough? Because I thought that was a pretty
Groove Seeker. Let me just add this right now.
more like
Hold up. I'm going to say this. Maybe you really want to know. Right?
That's good.
I know. I had to go there.
That's good.
Wow.
So there we
Did
go.
you guys work
'Cause
that
I
out
thought-
beforehand? Because I did. I feel like I threw.
I
this
really,
off.
I really thought there was a lot of those being printed. I could be wrong.
No. So again, I could be talked
That's
into it,
just-
and again, that's the posturing that I'll be doing at 4 in the morning or whatever time I end up getting there, because it's nice 7 opener. But yeah, I've got to have it now. See, this is what happens. This is where the strategery comes into this whole thing. Now, Brian Glick, he says sleeper pick MOM music for our Mother Ocean comp with great bands and songs. Okay, interesting. All right, so last topic. What is a title that you saw this list and you're like, you got to be kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Because look, man, I think we probably already hit. It's probably the Starship picture disc for many. Jason, I'm gonna start with you on this one. What was one you just like you saw it? It could be the Taylor Swift. I don't know. Like, what's the one you're like, you got to be kidding me?
Maybe the Harvey Danger, but I know that some people want it. So.
Come on.
Flagpole Sita?
No,
I
it's
know.
not that one. It's the one after
no,
that.
it's the one after it. So I asked, and then like some of my friends like, "Don't you be making fun of Harvey Danger?" I was like, "Whoa, what?"
Well, I wouldn't dare. Yeah.
Those guys unfortunately got the one hit wonder label and never really shook it. But which, by the way, that album was reissued, I want to say 2016, maybe another time. It's a Flagpole Sitter record is not cheap. Not cheap.
No, it's
Look it up.
not.
It's wild because to the point where I'm looking for the 45 of it. I think the 45 for the one song may be the alternative route. But okay, so
I mean, the one that kind
Harvey
of
Danger.
that one, maybe the Jeff Bridges. I know that Groove Seeker wants it, but if you watch that like Light in the Attic where Jeff Bridges is at RTI, that commercial or whatever, the post, and I think he's totally high. And he's like,
He's the
"Can we-"
dude.
he was like, "Can we listen to my record, man?" You're like,
In other news, water is wet.
I was like, that's
can you imagine that? Like
Jason-
Jeff Bridges shows up and he's like, "Can we listen to my record?" And you'd be
Jason. That's
like,
just your opinion, man.
Yeah.
well,
there you go.
the funny part of the video is he asks to flip it to the second side, the B side, and you see the guy, I guess the owner of RTI or the manager, he flips the record, but then he has like a blower to get rid of any static or whatever. It was like really quick. It's like shh. I'm like, whoa, what is he doing? Like, is he just getting any like dust on that record? Like off? Wow. But they play it, and then Jeff Bridges makes everybody dance to his record. And I'm like, wow, talk about promo right there. Like, that's how you get it done. You go there, your record's getting pressed. You tell everyone stop what they're doing, go listen to his record. And then when everyone's trying to sit and listen to it, he's like, no, get up and let's do the King Kong dance. And you're just like, what the?
Was there also a shrimp shrimp boil like they do in Salina? Have to ask. Sorry, I had to ask.
No, they just had crackers, right? They didn't get
Oh,
anything.
come
Jeez.
on. Unbelievable. All right, so those are the gotta be kidding me titles. Alex, we're going back around the horn. What is and first of all, Cesar was right. Hit that like button. Like, it doesn't cost you anything. And matter of fact, I've already seen a couple piss ants in the gallery. Hit that dislike button. It don't hurt my feelings. It means the same thing. So do it to it. Alex, what's something that you saw the list that you're like, you gotta be kidding me?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I try to. I don't really think about those things too much. But I will say, right, like this is something that's been beaten to death, and so this is not, an original thought by any means, but it's just so funny that it keeps happening. Every single record store day, there's another picture disc from The Cure. I
gotta scratch it on my bingo card. Hang on.
Yeah, and it's like it just sucks. It's like I know a lot of these are now back in print and all that different stuff, and so you can get them whatever. It's just one of those things. I'm just like, I don't know. Like, look, I would assume these people know more than we do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I guess people buy in this shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like they got about 16 years worth of record store day Cure picture discs data. And they're like, we're just going to keep on doing them. So that's the thing. And I don't actually disagree with the Bill Evans thing. And that's why, I mentioned earlier, like, I feel like, Bill Evans has been beaten to death. And I love Bill Evans, right? Like, I pick a lot of those up. I feel like there's like 3 or 4 Mingus titles almost every year. The one that I called out that I'm interested in was
Alex. I'm being handed a note from my producer, says that there's a Bill Evans live in the LA Forum coat closet coming Black Friday. So don't spend all your money.
Well, Alex, would you do a Bill Evans picture disc? Would you do it? Would you do it?
Only from Denmark.
Is it a melted spoon? I'm just asking.
Only if it's from Denmark. Well, and my favorite with the Bill Evans is, here's the thing. I'm making fun of this shit, and my drunk ass probably going to buy it. But my point is like, even the one this year is like Bill Evans from Denmark, the best of from 64 to 69. I'm like, y'all Poland now. Like, it's like we don't even get a show. We get like, here's some highlights from 6 years going on. So I mean,
hang on, we got another breaking. We got Charles Mingus live at the Denny's off Highway 94. It's 1973. So again, hold your money, don't spend it all, because Black Friday is coming up soon.
That Grand Slam, buddy.
Yeah, moon's over my hammy and Charles Mingus.
I would too I'd eat it over a sweaty egg. You would too. Don't pretend. So I get it.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna give you the last one on this one. What is before I weigh in, of course, because that's what I do. What's one that you saw? You're like, man, you gotta be kidding me. Like what's the expression? Come on, man.
I'm calling out the VC on this one, because everybody was all like, I can't believe they're gonna do this. Lou Reed metal machine music.
Oh, this is good.
Take a fucking hike. Take a fucking hike. You just want it to be like, oh, I got shut up.
He is such a gorgeous.
Give me a break. Oh, I'm so glad this is coming out. You won't even open it. You're not going to do it.
Wow.
So I was shocked about that.
Jose, wherever you are on the porta potty of shame, you would have a comment on the Lou Reed, no doubt.
Let me get an asterisk for Jose, because that's Jose's favorite Lou Reed album. He's the only person in the universe. It's his favorite. It's his favorite Lou Reed album.
I think that's the important. Okay, so that's the thing with
that's why I love Jose.
I actually think as a release for Record Store Day, it's brilliant, right? Like, because it's got this whole like aura about it. It's rare. It's expensive. It's been desperately in need of a reissue. But then like, you're also like, this is not a real fucking album, people. Like, this is not like, I mean, Lou Reed playing guitar when he's trying is not the best thing in the world. So, and I like Lou Reed. Like, this is not a Lou Reed hate thing. But it is,
Alex, we've got some controversy. Vinyl Piper has been taking some shots today, and he's firing back. He says, I'm sorry, but the worst Lou Reed album is better than most of the discography of Fish. Chris,
can I comment on that?
Please,
you
got to settle this beef. Please squash it.
Piper gives me strays. I can't think of one VC member's videos I send more to my friends than Piper's. I might have to stop. That's the first thing. The second thing is, nobody listens to Fish's discography. That's been discussed multiple times. Like, no one listens to their studio shit, and
that's what we talked about on the show that one time. I'm
not attacking Lou Reed's output here. I'm attacking the VC hype on this RSD release. That I'm like, take a hike. Come on, Piper.
In the immortal words of Rodney King, can't we all just get along?
It's like freaking out, saying like your favorite Neil Young record is like what, Arc or whatever.
Yeah, come on. Wow. That is Rojas' favorite Neil Young record, though. We talked about it at an extensive thread once. I'm just kidding, Jason.
That's because he loves Hurricane. So, and he's just like humming Hurricane for like 30 minutes.
Jeez.
I am just a dreamer.
No, Alex, that was not part of the contract for tonight's show. There's no.
Sure,
clear-
you're going to get a copyright hit. If I keep that
Well,
up.
yeah, I don't want to
Chance-
get copyright. That's all I need. I don't need. I already got enough people biting at my ankles here, so I don't need to.
Chance, I know you got to go, but I before you go, I just have one question for Rojas. I did not see the live Sixpence None the Richer album on your list, and I thought that was right in your
Oh,
wheelhouse.
Man.
I thought, I'm like, come on, man.
Well, actually, one that interests me the most was the Soul Asylum After the Flood live from the Grand Fork Prom, June 1997. That actually was like, man, are you kidding me? They played a prom? I had to like verify this was real. Like, oh, okay. Like, I was curious. Like, man, like they actually do some covers on that. School's Out, Alice Cooper.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Don't knock
What
it before you
else?
rock it, Chris. I think is what we're learning.
Track of My Tears, Smokey Robinson, Believe It or Not, Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing, Soul Asylum doing this, right?
At a prom.
Yes. They end with Glenn Campbell, Rhinestone Cowboy. Wow. Jeez. Amazing.
Unreal.
And they covered Lulu, To Sir With Love. Like this was like so tempting. I was like, man, wild.
Well, I'm gonna put a bow on this, and then maybe freestyle for a second. We probably don't have a full freestyle in this because of all the illness and all the controversy and the technological misgivings we're having tonight. But two things. My man, why are they doing that title? You got to be kidding me. Come on, man. Is Motley Crue Smoking in the Boys' Room, Home Sweet Home picture disc. I mean, come on, man. Come on, I mean, good God. It's already enough he threw Mick Mars out of the band. And I like the new guy, by the way. But, you know, there's those videos where, like, Vince Neil is, like, singing, like, current day Vince Neil, and he's, like, this saying the Yo Gabba Gabba. Like, those are my favorite videos to watch now because he's just making up lyrics to the song. But the fact that somebody thought this was a good idea, it hurts. It hurts. But though I don't know if I weighed in on. I said the Oasis one. I want to go back to. You could talk me into it. The other one I failed to mention was that Killers and Bruce Springsteen 12-inch.
I could fuck that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I like the spirit of the term. I'm going to sidestep over that one, but yes, it's one that I've kind of been like, it's growing on me. I like the Killers. I like the Boss. If it's not like $30, you know, if it's a nice,
it's like 4 songs, isn't it? Just
nine. Yeah, I don't know what the MSRP is. I didn't go that deep. That's what I mean. I'll be sitting looking at the list. I'll be looking at maybe a price if I can find one online, and that'll probably be one that, price prohibitive or not, I'll throw it in the stack.
You know, there's two. Not to keep. Well, I guess to keep going.
Go ahead.
There's 2 points. Buddy, you mentioned this, made me think of something. One of the other things I'm after, which is difficult because you just don't know what distribution looks like when things are more geared towards like the UK, for example. So the UK Record Store Day ambassador is a gentleman. The name is Sam Fender. Sam Fender, I'm a big fan of. I think, to me, he hasn't really caught on much in the US, but he's pretty damn big in the UK. And to me, is sort of really embodying that 2025 Heartland rock, kind of old school Bruce Springsteen, Wall of Sound, big war on drugs influence. In fact, Adam Granduciel produced his last record that came out this year. It's a great record, but he's releasing an EP that's a part of Record Store Day. I just don't know what the US is going to look like. And similarly, I heard, just doing like through the research or whatever, is that there is a record that's coming out, Rocket from the Tombs, which is like an Ohio punk band, like releasing this record.
Is this a UK again, or is this?
The thing is, like, it's only listed on Record Store Day UK,
Huh.
and so there's a handful of these titles that are only available on the UK side of things. Same thing with
Laura
because
Nyro,
it's another
too.
Ohio I'm an Ohio guy. I try to find Ohio stuff. I try to take pride in Ohio music. Stiv Bators, who was the lead singer of the Dead Boys, one of the first punk records that came out back in 1977. After the Dead Boys' first few records, when he went to the early 80s, he sort of went a little bit more retro and put out a couple of power pop records that were more in line with like the stuff going on in the 60s. And he teamed up with Frank Sesich from Blue Ash and, just a bunch of Ohio power pop stuff. But apparently their Munster Records, which is a Spanish label that specializes in this area, are releasing a bunch of B-sides and a compilation from these areas. But that is correct. Dreamscape.
Yeah, the Violent Dreamscape. Sean says Rockets would later become Pareo and the Dead Boys.
That's right. And so, a ton of cool Ohio stuff going on.
So, Alex, I'm going to make your day. I'm going to make your day. You ready for this? Sam Fender is playing, just announced today. St. Louis has a festival. This is now the third year. It's called Evolution Fest. It's put on by regional promoters. Headliner, my guy, Lenny Kravitz. You know who the next on the depth chart is? Sam Fender.
Sam Fender, there you go.
So I'll see you in end of September is basically what that means. Come on down.
We could make it work. And you know me, I can make a work trip down there. I can go to SIU.
Come on down, big man. We're ready for you. Sam Fender and barbecue waiting for you. So
we just got to go early in the day when you don't got to deal with those burnt ends.
We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there.
There are, and we know you got international viewership. We know this syndication, really. That there's a handful of these records that I think I would assume that a lot of it is label based, right? So, I was talking before about the Stiv Bators release. That's on Munster Records. That's a Spanish label. I don't know how much U.S. distribution they get, if that plays a role, but they're not showing up anywhere on any Record Store Day lists I see. But on Record Store Day UK, it's everywhere. So
Jason is he's emoting. So Jason, what are you emoting about over here?
The UK Record Store Day is getting the Golden Dawn power plant. What the hell? So this is on international artists from the 60s. This is like one of the hardest garage rock records, psychedelic records to get. And it's not coming to the US. It's only UK RSD. That's
Friends of Surface Noise over the pond. We have about 1.3% penetration according to our metrics. Can we get a lifeline, please? 1.3%. Thank you.
Lucky them.
There's a Laura Nyro on the UK record list, UK Record Store Day list too. It's not on the US. That's supposed to be pretty high.
Yeah, that feels like the next level is like going to other countries' lists and then potentially plotting and scheming how to get some of these elusive titles. Because I can see Jason's gears running. Like he's already like how and can and should.
It's funny because some of that does find its way.
It does, yeah. Especially some of the bigger, so like Rough Trade has obviously international footprint, right? So sometimes that goes up on the shores that way, and some of the bigger guys. All right, well, guys, I think we've done Record Store Day justice. I think I want to wish everyone, as we wrap up podcast proper part of the Surface Noise presentation, I want to wish everyone good vinyl luck if you're going out there. Hell, if you're listening to us right now, braving the cold, braving the elements, waiting for your store to open, you made a right decision. Don't listen to those other podcasts, community podcasts. We're the show of record. But I want to thank my guests. First of all, we don't cross paths often in this space, but the Groove Seeker, Chris, pleasure doing business with you this evening, sir.
Same with you, concert buddy.
And then Alex, pinch hitting, coming in clutch. Went and had dinner. You were just right man on the scene because Jose's got gangrene. So Alex, the channel is Beer and Vinyl. Alex, always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the invite.
And then also an Ohioan, Jason Rojas. Jason, we're going to get into the wall a little bit into freestyle. We're going to have probably a teeny tiny freestyle. But Jason, I'm glad to hear that you're going to go early. And their
social
titles
experiment.
It's
a social experiment.
Hey, however it gets you to join the rest of us. Now the next step is to print out the list like the rest of us olds. I'm not even going to ask if you read the newspaper at this point. I'm just looking for the printout list. So Jason, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me on, concert buddy.
Now, hang on. You guys ready for this? entirely too long. I apologize. This was a hastily put together presentation. So the freestyle segue was entirely too long. But we are in the freestyle. We're here. I don't know how long we'll go because this was a show that wasn't supposed to be between sickness and technologically challenged situations. But we beat up Record Store Day. I mean, maybe the conversation moves back there. I mean, I did have, and I don't know if we want to touch this. Maybe this is a post haste Record Store Day history. Maybe during the slow summer season, we'll pull that one out of the mothballs. But for all intents and purposes, let's talk about the freestyle. Obviously, Record Store Day is getting a lot of the hubbub this week. But Alex, you said something that struck a chord to the point I wrote it down. I wrote it down in the surface noise logule.
Right.
You like Ohio musicians? I'm going to ask you. An Ohio musician named Tracy Chapman had an album reissued last week.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Anyone on the dais, myself included, pick up the reissue, first of all? Anyone? Bueller?
I have an OG.
I was
What's the
tempted
fun?
today, actually, but I did not do it. I did not
Well,
pull the trigger
son of a
because of Arnaldo. Like, he told us, like, he watched Dave.
Dave Bianco.
No, not Dave Bianco.
Oh, the other
David,
guy, the other David. Yeah, UK David.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and he did like this shootout between his European copy, a black vinyl reissue, and then the red vinyl
Yes,
reissue.
red. Yeah, which is the retail.
And
one,
he
yes.
was saying he preferred the red, even though it had intergroove distortion or non-fill. And I was like, I shouldn't have watched this video. This was wrong. It influenced my choice because I was holding the black vinyl. I'm like, no, that Dave UK guy said the red one was better. And I just put it back. I was like,
Well, that red one I heard was a Walmart for us in the States, as a Walmart or Target kind of play.
okay.
I heard this, right? So I did go to a Walmart, and Walmart, the vinyl situation at Walmart is probably a whole show topic in and of itself, because some Walmarts have them behind cases now, like detergent in like San Francisco. Others they just quit carrying years ago, and so it's just the Adele record everywhere, upside down, etc. So struck out there, and then I went to some Targets, and it looked like they had been literally just karate kicking him in the back before they put him on the floor. So I didn't even try. Yeah. So, and I don't even know if those were the red ones at Target. Again, I couldn't confirm it. I wasn't going to invest my whopping $25, but I did get the indie exclusive, which was the orange variant. I just happened to be at one of my locals picking up something else. And what really struck me, because like Chris said, I've got an original. Actually, I have multiple OGs. Take that, Vinyl Piper. Multiple OGs of the Tracy Chapman record. And I decided for $25, it's worth a flyer. Worst comes to worst, I'll gift it, because it's official. Because, they did do that bootleg, I think, last year that was like silver vinyl. I'm sorry, European import, air quotes, European import. Which, by the way, the European import, more times than not, is a precursor to a official release. Side note, that's some inside baseball, but funny how that works. Anyway, $25, why not? I was at my local, and I'm going to give a shout out. I don't talk about my locals too often, but Euclid Records, St. Louis, also New Orleans. They, one of the clerks, great shop, made my purchases. I parked across the street. It's raining. I get in my car, and then I start it up, and I look over, and I see the clerk back in front of the store waving at me, and she's got the Tracy Chapman, the exclusive slip mat that came with it. I had forgot about it. So bless her heart, she ran through the rain across the street. It was almost like a rom-com.
She was holding the slip mat on her head. Wow, right?
I was like John Cusack, right? Except I was like, waiting on the other side. And she brought it to me. I thought it was so sweet. So the slip mat was a nice little touch. Just went right inside the jacket. But
she wanted to get you before you drove away in your fast car,
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Good God, this guy. I mean, listen, I got to be honest. That's an epic pun. I got to be honest. That was strong. That's way to go. So, yeah, she brought it to me. Very nice. All I'll say about it is this, and I said this in our show group chat, a little hyperbole, I'll be honest. But first listen for a $25 reissue sounded really good, except some of these little bugaboos. Like on track 4, I think Behind the Wall, you can hear some of the echo because it's a very quiet song, right? And Root Cause, I don't know, because this is remastered by the legend himself, Bernie Grunman. So as David Bianco, who did a nice review, talked about it, probably was tape degradation. You know what I mean? It's just probably couldn't have done anything about it. So outside of a couple little faux pas like that, for $25 in today's reissue climate,
right?
I mean, I would throw the gauntlet down. Like, what is a better reissue in the last 2 or 3 years at that price point, warts and all? Like, it's. I thought it was a mislabeled price, $25 from a, I think Rhino put it out. I mean, because I think they own the Elektra stuff, but couldn't believe it. So anyway, I'm happy with it. Like Chris said, like my OG, I'm not David Bianco, so I didn't like have the grid, and like he does a very thorough job. That's a cheap plug for his video. You should check out about the shootout. But I concur, the OG is where it's at. And if you can afford it, hopefully, and actually I've already started seeing this on the interwebs, it is driving the price of the OGs down. So that is always the teeter-totter effect of a good reissue, is that it helps get the market back in check, because those were going for 50, north of 50 easy, between 50 and 80, generally speaking.
But he said you had multiple OGs.
I do, but I was buying them before they were at that price point. That was one
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Like back when they were like a 20, and I was like, I don't know if you guys are like this, but like if I see a good record and I can get it at a good price, I will accumulate them and then gift them at various points. Except that one I hoarded. It went from gifting was a good idea to I woke up one day and I had 4 copies. And yeah, well, I think Novice Nick is here. Novice Nick did get a copy. If he's still here, I did have a copy, and I did VCLT him one time. I don't need to make a video about it like some fools out there to pat themselves on the back. Anyway, that's a whole nother.
I got Venmo like the rest of these people. Let's chat.
I bought my copy sealed for probably $15.
What?
Yeah, this is like
what? How long ago?
95?
No, like
jeez.
I don't know.
Was it from Merry-Go-Round Records in 1989? And where was it?
I was like, oh, this looks great. It's like just rip that open. But this is before like Concert By, like you were saying, before it was a $50 record, which is insane to me. So I haven't watched Bianco's video. I haven't watched it, or the UK dude who I watch. What's the take on the reissue? It's supposed to be better than the OG, beats the OG. No.
That was not the.
That wasn't the consensus. He just said the red one, right? Jason, you watched. Yes. I didn't watch it all the way through, but
he said the red one sounded better, yet it had some sort of intergroove distortion or non-fill on and he bought the record and then it had the non-fill, returned it, got a second copy, still had the same issues. So he was going to return it again. And I was thinking to myself,
that's
a man after my own heart. Love it.
Hey, right is right.
I mean, he was like going for it, dude, like $24. I mean, which might have been for him, maybe like 38 pounds. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. And he was just like, again, buying it, returning it, like hoping for the best one. And he's going to come to the conclusion, like when I was watching a video, the conclusion is they messed up on the red one. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, Concert Buddy, so what you're saying is, the OGs are now $40. Maybe they're dropping. So
I saw one go for 30s in an Instagram post. I forget. Sorry if it's somebody in the gallery, but I just randomly saw it in my feed. It was with hype sticker on top of it, $29.99. They're
awesome.
like, the market is correcting itself. I'm like, God bless you.
I'll buy one of yours, buddy.
David Bianco is here. He said, "Hey guys, stuck at the DFW airport, late flight to Chicago." Yeah, he's going to Axpona, I believe, is where David's going. So, David, we gave you a cheap plug for your Tracy Chapman shootout. Well done. It's only we can aspire to do the shootouts as methodically as you, because that's it. I'm just talking. I'm just sharing my experience, but you got the data, and I like that.
She's got a fast car. He's got a slow plane.
There we go. There we go. Just 2 fast car references on the stream.
There's no surprise that these are the guys who print out their shit for Record Store Day. It's
good.
add pun jokes, okay? Like, shocker.
Here's my thing. Didn't that first Chapman record sell like 15 or 20 million copies?
Yes.
Okay, so and that's going for $40.
Well,
Like,
Jason, what was the story? I think it was 2 years ago. You and Arnaldo was trying to get a copy at one of the shops in New York, and it's Arnaldo's story to tell, but there was some bartering because it was like $50, and the shopkeeper was like digging in on $50. Isn't that the gist of it?
Yes, we were at the wrong store. I mean, I don't know. He wasn't gonna. You could just look at that cashier. He wasn't gonna go down on the price, and Arnaldo was going for it, but this was the wrong store for that.
The wrong
It wasn't
dance
gonna
partner.
go-
Wrong dance partner.
Right,
Arnaldo.
right. It was not gonna go well, and it didn't go well. So
Well, now I wonder if he goes back there, and he probably has it. And now he's going to be taking less than that. But
oh man.
so let me ask you this: if obviously the heavy focus is Record Store Day and the lead up to it, and obviously if you watch the vinyl community on YouTube, as these fools are part of it, indirectly, indirectly. Is it hard to buy other records? One from I'm saving up like a budgetary, like I'm going to buy some Record Store Day stuff this weekend. Two, like Chris was saying, the one store's got they hold what they call them, wall bangers, I think was the term, wall bangers. So some of the stores do hold back some high heat to put out for the event. So all of these things, are you guys finding that you're not picking up things as frequently in the lead up, or does it really not even matter?
No.
No mercy. Just sorry, Walt. Opportunity knocks. You got to answer, kind of thing.
I do feel like that the distributors do a reasonable job of not bombarding you with releases for the couple of weeks before, so that helps. But yeah, I think I'd rather cut back on Record Store Day than cut back on kind of standard stuff coming out. So I don't cut back too much. Which
goes back to about the Tracy Chapman reissue coming. It's very curious that it was like the last gasp. Maybe they did that deliberately, knowing that the week before Record Store Day, it's the last pop before probably a lull, and then Record Store Day, and then probably a lull right after Record Store Day, rightfully so, right? Like strategery.
Yeah, possible. It's not a bad thought, and even like the fact that it's in stores for Record Store Day is probably helpful, right? So
I think so. I can tell you firsthand, it hasn't stopped me from buying stuff. I was on a vinyl diet for, I think February is a nice vinyl diet month, or March. It all bleeds together when you're going without. It all bleeds together. But I'm back with a vengeance, boys, and maybe we'll show a few records before we get out of here. But
I mean, that was I did have kind of that goal of like, okay, like you're spending a lot for Record Store Day, like maybe not do your typical, because I used to go out and every weekend, and it doesn't mean I'm buying a bunch of stuff, but at least go shop around or whatever. And so I didn't do that for a little while, but then it was like, oh, like I got a work trip to St. Louis, like I'm going out with concert buddy and buying a bunch of dumb stuff. But then like Kraft dropped their contemporary jazz series stuff for buy one get one, so that type of stuff hits, and I'm like, I could use some of those Sonny Rollins, like very specific type of stuff that I want, and so that kind of happened. But Chris makes a good point of like, if things are happening kind of tangentially or at the same time, it's, I was thinking, okay, so here's the comparison I would give. Let's say I love each artist exactly the same. Would I prefer a Kenny Dorham live Record Store Day archival sort of release, or if I had the same amount of money, would I prefer like the Mo-Fi Miles Davis Black Beauty? Well, I mean, it depends, right? I mean, me, because I love Miles Davis, like I might do the Black Beauty. I don't think it was ever actually released in the U.S. Like, there's a lot of stories there, but that's something that kind of keeps me like, oh, like, am I buying this just because it's Record Store Day? Like, that's kind of the other thing I push, right? Is like, with the Record Store Day thing is like, am I buying this only because it's on Record Store Day, or would I have bought this normally if it was just like a normal reissue that came out, right? So like going back to the Pharoah Sanders, I feel like if whoever would have reissued that at whatever time, people would have been like, oh, this is dope, man. This is the Pharoah Sanders reissue. While some of these other, especially jazz titles, are like, well, I feel like I have to get that $80 Mingus triple LP simply because it's record store day, right?
Ooh.
So Alan always says the Miles Black Beauty sounds amazing. Picked it up last Friday. So there you go.
I think that was like what, Japan only, I think, at the time that it was
Yes.
like, I don't think that ever got released in the US. So those are the MoFi things, not to go down this path, but like that's the stuff that I look at when people are like, well, when do you decide whether you want to buy MoFi or any audio file? Is I kind of look at like, well, am I able to get an original? How much is that original going to cost? Is it worth the difference? Like if an original is going to be $60, do I want to just buy a MoFi for $60? Because, or and when I say MoFi, I really mean any of those sort of audiophile labels. So that's one of the ones I'm looking for. Between that and the Dark Magus or whatever was the other one that came out semi recently that I'm really interested in. So
Alex, you raised a good point. It's like we're aligned because these segues are working organically. But Jason, I know in our little off chatter we've talked about this a little bit, but for the show purposes, the MoFi, some of these titles that they're announcing lately, it's like they woke up and from the last 20 years, Atlantis, it was Infatuation Junkie. I'm not gonna say the whole title because I'll butcher it. STP, Tiny Music, and it feels like they're doing
New York Dolls. Yeah.
Right, they're doing New York Dolls. That's another one. Like they're doing the work that other people would be doing. So I'm gonna say, is MoFi back, or did they ever leave? or are they just stepping into a place that other manufacturers should have, and for whatever reason,
DSD Daddy forever. He ain't gonna go away. Ain't hiding it no more. You got your refund, Groove Seeker, so you're in the clear. All is forgiven, right? As long as they gave you the refund.
Hey, they took back those one steps I didn't really need. The Paul Simon and Stevie Ray Vaughan, they took them back and gave me that CTC. We call that cut that check, homie. So I'm okay with MoFi.
Bring on that DSD.
Gotta eat.
No, great titles. I mean, you got to be honest. Like no one else is touching it. Now they're, hitting that hammer on that nail. Now they're kind of like, hey, New York Dolls, wouldn't that be great? Hey, we're putting it out. Like, oh shit,
David Bianco says MoFi knows it's coming time for a resurrection. Okay,
that's right. Their own pressing plants. They're kind of doing everything right now.
So counterpoint. So I'm not going to get into. We talked about this a couple shows ago about the tariffs and how that could potentially affect vinyl purchasing, right? More manufacturing, especially stuff pressed overseas, talking optimal and stuff. So a company that has done a pretty good job of doing 90s and 2000s stuff that no one else was doing is music on vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
That's all overseas.
Digital, but
it is digital. Yes,
that means we don't want it, man.
Well,
It doesn't
A
matter.
lot of those albums were recorded digitally. It's all
correct.
right.
Like
If
you want
it's
to
not
know
analog, I
Ant
don't
Farm,
want it, man. I'm a
the only way you're
YouTube.
getting Alien Ant Farm, Alex, is digital. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
It's criminal.
I'm sure that STP record was recorded digitally.
Oh, of course.
Did you say Alien Ant Farm?
Yeah, Alien. I think I have one over there. Here's my point, guys. There is a point to this. So, if this tariff thing materializes, is this also an opportunity for MoFi or the folks in Salina? They were trying it. I don't know why they got off of it. They did those STP titles, Matchbox 20. They did some of this Atlantic stuff. It would seem to me that there now is more of a landscape for other people to enter this space, especially if a music on vinyl title that with import is $30 to $40 now, 70 to 80. Like it's going to be slow sledding at least until all this tariff stuff's going. So Chris, I see you nodding your head. Do you think that MoFi can not only make up some of their lost ground with some of these titles they're announcing now, but they Pac-Man some of that music on vinyl space, or anybody really? Do you think this is the time?
I mean, if they can get the licenses, I think they will.
That's the route.
I think that was the big deal with like music on vinyl was getting all that 90s stuff when no one wanted to press it. So, that was a huge thing. I guess I fear, and I'm an AP75 subscriber. But I
Is there a club you
fear,
don't
like,
belong to, Chris? I gotta ask.
yeah,
I'm just gonna say right now, MoFi's back, baby. MoFi's
Oh,
back.
you got the
Liz.
chairman of the board is here.
Liz, you could use this to hold the door open. Yeah.
As the Frank Sinatra box said, I
Prop,
flirted with
you know,
getting-
prop the car. You know, you need to change the tire. Put this underneath the car. Right. Jeez.
will hold the weight of a.
Right. Yeah. Like, man.
Jason, I
think,
thought your
like-
deltoids were looking bigger lately. Now I know where that's coming from. It's from that Sinatra box set. Yeah.
Right. Was this necessary? Good question. You know, man. Jeez. Man, I don't know. This was an experiment gone wild right here. This right
Coming soon to Breakaway Records.
I think so. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
Oh my
what
god.
they call a lost leader right there.
Lost leader. I think
Old Blue Eyes here, you know.
Oh,
So,
Blue
so
Eyes,
concert
old-
buddy, I do fear the $60 reissue of, like, Weezer, Maldroid or something like that.
No.
But I do think that MoFi has a space. I think the Rhino Reserve series at that price point is the space where it could be like, these titles should be in print.
Yes.
It should be affordable, but they don't need the double 45, 16 sales inserts version of the reissue of the issue, like, unless it's something special. I mean, so I think there's an opportunity there, and I do find it interesting. I forgot the label that does it, but they did the 2 Green Days, they did the Linkin Park One Steps.
Oh, because music matters.
Yeah.
Because I have the Dookie. I still haven't even opened it. Like, I'm surprised they jumped right for that. I thought that was kind of strange.
Chris, are you a COVID collector?
No. I was hoping to flip it, but I think I
Oh, you
didn't
missed the window?
speculate well on that one. Yeah.
Been there. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a space for it. I'm just hoping that it doesn't become one of these hype beast engines. I hope that it just becomes like this Tracy Chapman you talk about, one of the best-selling albums ever, classic record. Like, put it out for $25 for people. Like, that's the space it should be in. It shouldn't be like,
Well, I agree. David Bianco said the licensing. That's what we were talking about before, Chris. I agree with that. Licensing makes or breaks a lot of these deals.
yeah.
But I think, if anything, and this is one of my takeaways, it can be done, audiophile recordings, air quotes, for $40, and that's
think
with
it's
a
him
nice
too.
jacket. That the marketing, you're getting the marketing mastering engineer, fill in the blank. Like, you can hit all the bells and whistles at a $40 price point. So that tells me that they're still making good margin. Same thing with the Tracy Chapman. The common thread there is, like, it's that Warner, Elektra, like it's that Rhino. It's those guys that seem to be leading the charge on that. And I don't know if that's more about licensing or if that's just more of, we're okay taking a smaller margin to move volume. I don't know. I just see a lot of common threads there. And Alex, what do you think?
Well, God, I mean, there's so many thoughts with something like this. Going back to like the music on vinyl thing, I think they succeeded, and take like the whole analog thing out of it, right? Like, if we're just going purely based on like how it sounds, and also, I think as Chris kind of alluded to, like, they tapped into a genre, an era, and a demographic that was not typically talked about, right? Like, I am a huge, like, I'm a pretty big metal guy. And so a lot of, metal of like the late 90s, early to mid 2000s is not available. And I would put my money on the ones that are available are all music on vinyl releases. And so they were obviously going into something. And again, like, I think, as we alluded to, like, a lot of those were recorded digitally anyway. So that's not here nor there. The other thing too, I always think about this, and I know it's not exactly of the people watching this, but we have to remember too, like, as people who are on YouTube and do this whole thing, we are a very, very, very small, tiny ass percentage of people.
Stop
Like,
it. We are the leaders of the new
Do
frontier.
what I say, record labels. Me mad.
MoFi back.
I hate to break it to our Sinatra box sucker over there, but
I
it's
know.
like, I would venture to say 90 to 98% of people who are picking up a Tracy Chapman reissue don't even know what no fill means, and so it's like I think that we have these conversations a lot of like us and our contemporaries and people on the internet and talking about all these things. I'm like, that is a very, very, very tiny ass percentage of people who are buying these records. And so I always kind of keep that in mind too, of like I think from their perspective it was like, this is a record that's very high in demand. Even if it's a $50 to $60 record, it's been begging for a reissue. We'll crank one out. And I mean, let's be honest, a record in 2025 that's high in demand for $25, I mean, that's pretty damn good. So
that's what I go back to. Again, I know people are, especially, listen, the butthole of the vinyl community is those Hoffman forums. And that's where people go to just like tear each other down. And Tracy Chapman's that recording is getting beat up because of the echo and all that stuff. To me, like, that's a minor inconvenience for affordability. Like, of course, I wish it wasn't there. Of course, anyone does. But still, take out those 2 little or 3 little blemishes. Again, providing it's not non-fill is kind of an issue, right? But other than that, for $25, to your point, Alex, like, guys,
right. I mean,
where else?
Do you think your 54-year-old mom in Cuyahoga Falls who grew up on Tracy Chapman cares?
Sure.
You know what I mean? I know
I agree with you.
It's like,
I think the chase for perfection kind of jades some of the analyses, right? To an extent, right? Like that's why, again, David's not paying me for this, but David does a nice job of like keeping the main thing, right? And so
yeah,
he calls it like he sees it and listens or hears it, right? Which is appreciated. But at the same time, I think at the end, the one thing I like David does is he does like the value, right? Retail value, and divides it, like has like a formula that talks about like basically what the pay per ounce, or I forget what he said. Anyway, David, correct me I'm doing a terrible job of doing your little last box on your shootouts, talking about how the price, the going market rate versus output goes.
Anyway. I mean, a perfect example, I don't know if David's done it, and apologize if you have, right? It's like, okay, take Jethro Tull's Aqualung, right? A record everybody, a lot of people love. I love it. It's a classic. It had been sort of, it's been coded as brutally recorded. Like it sounds terrible, all these different things. Now, for a lot of people, that's a $5 or $10 record, an original that they can just buy and they're okay with it. And they think, okay, well, it's a bad recording, but like, it's a great record. I'm okay with that. Right. But then also you had, I think, a UHQR. It was one of the first big UHQR, that's 125. I think it's probably a 200 or $250 to $300 piece of wax right now. Right. And then there's the Steven Wilson remix or remaster, which is a $30 brand new record. And it's like, I've heard a lot of people be like, look, I mean, if you want to go for like the $300 UHQR, like more power to you. Or there's this 25, and David might be one of those people. I think he did this with, he might have done this with Fragile or the Yes album, but he did it with one of the Yes records. And so, it's like, I don't know. Like when I listen, personal preference, I know everybody's different. I've heard people talk about,
here's David. He says the $30 Steve Wilson Aqualung is the best value and sound. See?
Yeah. And I would venture to say, I mean, for a lot of these like Steven Wilson remixes, right? The guy knows what he's doing. But it's funny too, because for me, for stupid fat Alex in Columbus, Ohio, you know what I mean? When I put on Aqualung, I don't sit there and struggle for enjoyment because it, quote unquote, wasn't recorded well. I still get just as much joy out of it. But
the air drums are still the air drums, right? Is that what
I've heard people that have said, this kills me, by the way. It kills me. And if it's any of you, sorry. But like, I've heard people be like, I played the 33 RPM of that record on MoFi after I heard the 45 RPM record on MoFi, and it was, quote, unlistenable.
What Hoffman forums person are you calling out, Alex? Because that's
I don't know, because I'm not on the Hoffman forums. But I'm like, unlistenable. I was like, maybe you just don't like the fucking music, guy. Like, I mean, that's the thing is like, unlistenable. Are you kidding? Like, that's really how this goes. So I get it, man. But also, I don't get it.
Listen, Alex,
I
you
don't
were
know.
welcome to drag, and PB Thal is really going to town on this Aqualung thing. So
Right.
you've activated Patrick in a dark way. I don't want to get
Patrick
in the middle
has
of
now come out of his aqua lung to.
Yeah, he's this is something my man knows, and he says define which version of Aqualung is a $5 record. The original US 1A is decent, probably $10. OG UK A1 B, yeah, I mean he's hitting you. He's
That's
rapid
great.
firing you, Alex. Are you,
But also,
don't
I know
if you
PB Thal, he's in California, so his $10 might be my $5. You know what I mean? Like for that first
there we
US.
go.
But I mean, but again, it depends. I mean, yeah.
Aqualung sounds great if you stream it via a nice DAC. Sounds fantastic.
It's like, I don't know how
I'm-
audiophile I need
For
to
this
be.
last episode of
no one-
Surface Noise, I want to thank everyone.
No one. This is the thing that I think, Alex, what I agree with you on is that, like, does anybody fucking care about the music anymore?
No.
Like, does anybody give
Wow.
a shit about the music? Like, how many albums did we grow up with? CDs recorded like shit, sounded like shit, and we still love it. We're not like, oh, this. But I can hear the fucking sound engineer really fucked up track. Like, who cares? If you're on the pursuit, my point is that you can be on the pursuit of the highest quality pressing. That's fine. I do it too.
You know what?
But don't shit on people for buying a
shit on
fucking
two
reason
people
from
here.
Walmart.
I'm gonna shit on Buddy and on Jason. You ready for this? You're getting this now. Y'all getting some insider scoop stuff because I'm about 15,000 beers deep. And so here's how we go. You know, it's like the recent this came out over back in like November, right? Is they did the first vinyl pressing of Badfinger's Head First, right? I know Buddy got on one. I know Rojas got on. Do you think fucking Concert Buddy or Jason Rojas listened to a fucking ounce of Badfinger before that record came out?
Oh, hang on a second.
Wait. Hold on. I know. Hold
First of
on
all,
one second.
Rojas is the one that said this is one to get. But I had ass. I had.
We know you got that ass.
I got that ass. No, man. Jason, you get
Wow,
Alex the spanking he needs on this one.
I think you're out of line, man. This aggression will not stand.
I think, Alex, you need a bad finger right now, right?
Yeah, you need a bad finger in a bad place right now.
In a wall banger, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Come on now.
that's cool. Rojas gave me a 45-minute dissertation on the history of Bad Company's bass player one day. I mean, I'm pretty sure he listens to him. Like, damn.
First of all,
man.
you mean
That's cold.
He was bass player in King Crimson for about a year and a half too.
Listen,
Boz Burrell?
So, Alex, I'm going to say something that's going to blow your mind. And if Arnaldo was here, he would confirm this. I used to have 3 copies of Straight Up. Now I have 2. Arnaldo now has one of them. So
Yeah.
you can take your bad fingering and stick it where the sun doesn't shine, fella.
Look at that.
Okay?
Were they all the UK copies or?
No, they're US. They're US. I'm sorry. I didn't stretch.
I think you should be attacking the people that are going to buy that Pharaoh Sanders Saturday and don't deserve to buy it, not Rojas and Concert Buddy for their Badfinger support.
I just love Badfinger. You know, I joke about that because like Badfinger is like one of my favorite bands ever, and I've done a bunch of videos about Badfinger, and I just never hear anybody talking about them. And then as soon as the Head First comes out, man, people be flipping that like pancakes on Sunday morning at the firehouse.
Jason, can you educate Alex real quick? I mean, this was an album, and I don't want to steal his thunder, but Jason, it takes a lot for Jason to get excited about an album. Honestly, he's very even keeled. But this was an album that he admittedly, not only here, I think publicly, but in our little group chat, was saying, like, I couldn't believe they were doing this. Like, I am so excited. Excited was the word I think he used.
That's good.
For this proper, Jason, can you please educate Alex? He needs to be taught something. Real
Yes, when I heard that they were doing this, I had to get it, no matter what. Like,
right.
just
and
refresh
get this guy
Google.
fired up. Yes.
You know, my local. It was no guarantee that my locals were going to carry it. Like, I drove all the way farther to End of an Ear, and it was not even on their website. Even Waterloo didn't have it. They were like, no, we don't have this, but we can order it. And I was like, I don't need to hear this right now. Like, I need this in
Jumped
my
in
hands.
the car. He's driving all over
Yeah.
town like a madman.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just
Been there.
asking, you know, and then like lo and behold, like end of an ear, it's like, I don't know if we have it. Then I went to the bins and it was behind the Badfinger sign. Like somebody was trying to hide it.
Trying to be
I
cute.
mean,
It's like,
you know,
I was
the,
like,
the reality
"Come
is,
with this."
yeah, no, obviously I'm not serious about attacking you guys. I remember when I bought mine, as soon as it got released, I ran out to one of my locals. I won't say which local because Jason knows all of them, but I picked it up and I was like, man, like, I'd try to shoot the shit with whoever's checking it out. I'm like, oh man, like this is, I couldn't be more excited. This is this is so great. Record store owner goes, damn, I didn't know Badfinger was still making music.
Oh,
They all dead.
Wow.
But yeah, so
This is where I wish we were in the actual A-side studio. I would do a great drop right now, but I'm in the guest studio. Sorry, guys.
that's funny.
Unbelievable.
Please tell me who that is later, Alex. You have to tell
Unbelievable.
me who
So,
said that.
Jason, I'm going to read this one because I'm being asked. Your number 3 fan, Richard James, says he has a birthday request for his daughter. She's turning 11. She really wants to see Jason hold the world famous rare copy of the turquoise Led Zeppelin Fact. Now, I don't know if it's on the ready, Jason. Maybe will you consider it for your number 3 fan if you have it handy? It's for the daughter.
Sure, maybe at the end.
Maybe at the end. I mean, we're rounding
it's
third
over
to use a baseball term, so we'll see what we can do. But anyway, well, I do have to read this comment because I think I wish I could give away tchotchkes for some of these great comments. We've had some great comments. I want to thank everybody in the gallery. We're not almost wrapping up. We're right at the finish line. This may be the comment of the year from Breakfast King of Loyal. Paul says, Chance, do you think Rerun's bootleg of the Doobie Brothers will ever get a vinyl pressing? So I wanted to spend a second on this because if you know what he's talking about, there used to be this wonderful TV show called What's Happening. Not to be confused with What's Happening Now or What's Happening 2, which was a spinoff. But this show, it broke cultural barriers. And Fred Berry, a.k.a. Rerun, a larger man who wore a red beret, also from this area. He's a St. Louisan in some capacity. Underrated breakdancer. Well, anyway, if you go back to that show, it's on the YouTubes. There was a cross-cultural moment where this let's call them young urban youth befriended the Doobie Brothers and the Silver Songbird himself, Michael McDonald. And if you want to talk about world standing still, this was the moment. So I think it's a fair question that I'm being asked. I don't know if Rerun officially bootlegged the performance of the Doobie Brothers that day in the high school gymnasium on a soundstage, but he should have. But any opportunity I can have to pay tribute to Fred Berry, a.k.a. Rerun, a.k.a. Thunder Down Under. He's got to have like 40 names. But to see a big man move with the grace that Rerun had, I got to. Fred Berry, tribute, my friend. Oh, and hang on. Now we're getting to what's happening. Now it's coming in. Here come the comments. Kara WD. Rerun whips out his belt for Roger's mom so she can beat Roger. And she says to Rerun, I want to beat him, not hang him, honey. See, I mean, this is...
Oof.
If you don't... Again, well, I'm not going to give a whole dissertation on what's happening and how it's been lost to time, but it was one of the great sitcoms, in my opinion.
I was on the Hoffman forums this morning, and I saw that Kevin Gray actually has access to the original reel-to-reel of that bootleg. So,
jeez.
Shortly. So,
Hackensack West is all over it. I mean, this could be another Black Friday sleeper, guys. I think we not only Bill Evans live in the men's room at the Montreal Forum or Charles Mingus at the Denny's off I-94. Now we've got the Rerun bootleg tape of the Doobie Brothers EP coming at you from What's Happening.
I mean, one thing about the RSD picture discs, there's only just one. No one's ever released a double picture disc, right?
Ooh, don't give him any ideas, Jason, because that is a challenge.
Tusk has got to be coming, right?
Oh yeah, Tusk.
Oh man.
Come on. Yes, picture disc, my man. Yeah, picture disc of the Rerun bootleg. I'm all about it. Look at even Bianco saying Kevin will send Jason a signed copy. Look at that, Jason. We're gonna get this for you. Happening.
I could only be so lucky in the VC.
It's happening. Delightful. Well, guys, I think we're right at time. It's been an enjoyable show. Hopefully, everyone joining us to hit that like button, hit the dislike button, hit a button on their telephone. Hopefully you enjoyed it too. Great panel tonight. Great conversation. Record Store Day this weekend. Good vinyl luck to everybody. I think Spins will be back next week. He, again, MIA. Hope you feel better. Spins vinyl. We will. And then Jose hopefully has recovered from whatever ailment prevented him from joining our power dais tonight. I think the exact term was, I think I can make it, which in Jose parlance means nope.
No chance.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate it. Next week, Service Noise in some shape or form. We'll be back. And Jason, you're going to send us out with a WoW record to show the masses.
Signed by Ahmad Jamal. Isn't that pretty cool? If you're ever in New York, go to Infinity Records. One of the best, honestly.
No doubt.
Prices, you know.
Love it. And actually, hang on. We got one more. This is the mic drop. This is Frank. Mr. Sickermania says he just sold a 1983 Sgt. Pepper Audio 5 from Australia for $7,500. Frank, love it. Love it.
Oof. Wow.
That's some fat stacks, my friend. And I think on that one,
You agree that you smoke?
that's right. Dr. Phil, that's the wrong drop.
Smoke weed every day.
That is for you, Frank. Congratulations. And Service Noise out.
That Viagra shit works.
I'm sorry, what?